Okay, so the topic that we have today and tomorrow are interrelated. You can see both of them are a little bit similar. So I think it's important to clarify first the topics that we discuss today and tomorrow. I think it's important before we begin the session today. I want to take a moment to clarify these two. They are closely related, but focus on different dimensions of Buddhist economic thought. The Buddhist perspective on wealth and religious pluralism, we are examining here two interconnected areas. First, regarding wealth, we'll explore the personal Buddhist approach to material possessions. This includes how individual practitioners should relate to money and material goods, the middle way between extreme poverty and excessive luxury, right livelihood principles, how we earn our living ethically, understanding wealth as a tool for dana, generosity, and spiritual development, personal guidelines for acquiring, maintaining, and using wealth according to Buddhist ethics. So, this is the first regarding wealth. And second, regarding religious pluralism, we'll discuss how Buddhism relates to other faith traditions. The Buddha's teachings on tolerance, respect for different spiritual paths, and how Buddhist principles can coexist harmoniously with other religions. So this is the topic that we are going to cover today. And then tomorrow, it's actually tomorrow. Yeah, so tomorrow's topic is Buddhist perspectives on economy. Over here, we shift our focus from the individual to the collective, examining economic systems and structures through Buddhist lens. How entire economic systems can align with Buddhist values, social and economic justice from a Buddhist worldview, community level economic relationships and responsibilities, sustainable economic practices that benefit all beings, economic policies that reduce social suffering, the concept of economic interdependence. So these are the points that we are going to cover with tomorrow's topic. So the key distinction here, think of it actually this way. Today we ask, how should I as a Buddhist practitioner relate to wealth? And tomorrow we ask, how should society organize its economic systems according to Buddhist principles? Okay, I hope now the two topics are much clearer to you today and tomorrow. Okay. Now, I would like to ask you this question. What do you mean by wealth and rich? What do you mean by wealth and rich? Over here, um, okay. So in the Zoom chat, please type one word or one phrase or one clause or one sentence that wealth means to you. What does wealth mean to you? Okay. Wealth and health used to mean money. Now it means wisdom, spiritual abundance, and strong relationships, surplus access to physical safety such as food and shelter, possession, material things, spiritual development, health, enough resources to care for myself and others, physical and spiritual. Wealth is the presence of safety, comfort, and compassion in one's life. The comfortable amount of personal funds beyond sustenance can also apply to an abundance in friends' happiness. And again, sharing is the wealth. That's wonderful. All right. Now, let's move to richness. Now, please add the short phrase richness. Example, time, relationships, peace of mind, generosity, etc. Richness is wisdom, richness, compassionate, happiness, fullness, plenitude, quality, witness, mind free, mental clarity and understanding, abundance. Okay. Well, now we will move into another category. Before that, maybe I'll read what the other said: an amount of personal funds that allow gaining any material item desired, also abundance beyond measure, profundity. Okay, wonderful. Now, identify yourself in one of these, okay? There will be 4 types of people. You can identify yourself. You may not necessarily maybe declare here in public if you don't want. That's fine. I mean, you can keep it to yourself. So the people that we are going to find here, 2 way, okay, um, richness and wealth. So there is outer wealth, and that is material means, as some of you mentioned, money, assets, access. These can be outer wealth. Then we also have inner wealth. Some of you, I think many of you have also touched upon this. Generosity, contentment, and kindness and wisdom. Okay, these are some of the outer wealth and inner wealth. In Mahanidesa Pali, the Buddha also actually mentioned these things. How we talk about, we boast about, our properties, our even like servants, movable and immovable properties, all these things, this could be outer wealth. Then the inner wealth is completely different realm again. So there are 4 types of people. And one person has money, and some of them actually, don't have money. And some people like to share with the others, but the others don't want to share with the others. Okay, number one, he or she is rich outside and also rich inside, uses resources to help, gives, and uplifts. That's number one. Number two, rich outside and poor inside, clings, self-centered, and fearful and status-driven. Number three, poor outside, rich inside, open-handed, and community-minded. Number four, poor outside and poor inside, scarce means, and closed heart. Okay, now take a good look on these 4 types of people, and you identify yourself, which number that you belong to. That's amazing, like you want to be really honest here. Okay. That's cool, actually. One thing in Buddhism that the Buddha also mentioned to us, like if we accept our our problem area, our mistake, there is always an opportunity for us to uh, go forward, progress. So it's really, really important that we know our stance, we know our mistake, we know our loophole. Then it will be easier for us to work upon that. Yeah, so now maybe what are we really asking here? wealth. This is outer wealth. Tools and conditions that meet needs like food, shelter, healthcare, education, savings, and richness, like the inner richness. Qualities that make the life feel abundant, like generosity, dana, ethics, sila, contentment, santutti, gratitude, katanyuta, wisdom, panya, and good friends. Good friends like my name, Sumita. Sumita means good friend. So we can say Suhadamita, Kalyanamita, Sumita. So in the Buddha's teaching, money is morally neutral. Its intention, its source, and its use give it ethical weight. So that is why we talk about Samma Ajiva, right livelihood, wise acquisition, protection, sharing, and using. So the Buddhist explanation in short, over here, we can see the Buddha often praised contentment and generosity as true riches. He spoke of the noble treasures, faith, confidence, virtue, learning, conscience, prudence, generosity, and wisdom as wealth no thief can steal. That's amazing. Like when we have the merit bank, nobody can hack that. Nobody can, withdraw that money um, without our consent. So that's a very safe safety box. Then outer wealth without inner wealth tends to tighten uh, greed, fear, and isolation. Then when you want to be very kind of possessive and maybe like over ambitious, too much ambitious, then these are the things that can happen to us: greed, fear, and isolation. uh, Inner wealth without outer wealth can still create great benefit through kindness, service, and community, and often attracts trust and support. That's a very powerful way of becoming wealthy. So, type one, rich outside, rich inside. Resources like ethically earned, right livelihood, wisely used, gladly shared, and lightly held. That's about um, type type one. The the practice part to move from 2 to 4 toward 1 or 3. Generosity training. Generosity training or dana is an integral part of Buddhist practice. And virtue sila also are always there with the Buddhist practice. And contentment, we will talk about that little later as santutti, how important it is to be happy with what we have and not worry with what we don't have. Plus practical skills like budgeting, fair work, and also mutual aid. These can be practical um, practical aids. So now let me ask you this question. Which type seems most celebrated in your society? Number type one, two, three, or 4 in our contemporary society. Maybe from country to country, from region to region, it may differ. Okay, that's actually a good mixture. So 2, 2, 4, 2, 2. Right. Okay. Mostly 2. Yeah. And this one, which does Buddhism nudge us toward and why? Which number? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now, share one concrete way someone with little money can still be rich in heart. One just simple way. You must have been doing it all the time. Say one little practice. This is very helpful. I think we can learn from each other. Okay. Now, this is wonderful. Like smile doesn't cost you anything. Mindfulness, volunteer, sharing their time with others, metta, yeah, volunteer, support the emotional needs of others, surrounded by loving community and doing things that really fulfill him, and equanimous lifestyle, volunteer, sharing their time and presence. These are really wonderful. Okay. So, what's one wise use of wealth you've seen or done that created shared good? I think this could also be related to what you have already said. If you have anything else, please add that. cooking food for others, potluck. Wonderful. Religious organizations make sure their practitioners get healthy food, giving blood. Wonderful. Restoration work of natural environments. That's beautiful. Practicing morality, giving gifts to others. Awesome. Donating Dhamma books for others to use and share with their friends. Yeah, that is the best gift one can give. The Sabbadana Dhammadana Jinata, it says. The gift of Dhamma excels all other gifts. Sharing a meditation practice, yeah, that's really, really wonderful. Giving food, yeah, we need to do that. Sabbe satta ahara thitika. So all living beings survive, depend on food. And taking care of the animals, that's wonderful too. Hmm. Animals, you mean like pets or just in average? Yard sale of unwanted items to raise money for our new front entrance of the temple. That's really, really very rich, wholesome act. And consuming less. Yeah, this is another thing that we need to really focus on. We have a lot of over consumerism today, excessive consumerism. So I think um, to control this also is very important. Sharing time, sharing silence. That's really nice. To be silent means you have time to listen to yourself on the one hand, and you help others to focus on themselves. This is wonderful. Thank you. Now, we already have a richness phrase that you have already done at the beginning. Do you want to remodel it and type again in the chat? Richness phrase after this little exercise and little knowledge that you gain. What is your richness phrase? I'm rich in blessings. Wonderful. Richness is equal to mind. Yeah, definitely. More time for hobbies and rich in community care. Okay. Care for the others. Rich in access to the Buddha's teaching. That's very wonderful. Do less, give more. Presence at all moments. Wonderful. Having supportive family and friends. Community oriented. Richness, capability, and power. Positive inner connectedness. Happy, consider others. Yeah. These are very beautiful thoughts of you, and hopefully your richness phrase can grow better and better over time. Hopefully by the end of this lecture, your richness phrase can be even more meaningful and effective and efficient and more richer. And compassionate financial stability, like the middle way when it comes to my financial state. Not greedy, but not poor too. Yeah, empathy. Yeah, that's part of karuna. All right. Okay, I hope that was very helpful. Just to begin our lesson. So, can somebody read this, please? You want to try the Pali sentence, Pali stanza?
I can try, Bante.
Okay.
Arogya parama labha santuti paramam danam visasa parama nyati nivanam paramam sukam. And then the English part too.
Yes, please.
Health is the greatest gain. Contentment is the greatest wealth. Trust is the greatest kin. Nibbana is the greatest happiness.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ayla. So, Arogya Paramalabha Santuddhe Paramanghanam Vissasa Paramanyati Nibbanam Paramang Sukham. So we have here Arogya, or absence of roga. Roga means sickness. You become healthy. Health is wealth. That is, health is the greatest. Paramalabha, greatest gain. Santutti paramang dhanam. Santutti means contentment. To be happy with what you have right here, right now. Not repenting over the past losses, or not worrying about what is going to happen in future, what is going to lose in future, but to be happy right here, right now. Santutti paramam dhana, contentment is the greatest wealth. You see here, wealth is directly related to santutti. Vissasa paramanyati, trust. Very important thing, trust. Jnati is the relative, is the greatest king. I remember there is one Sanskrit shloka. It says, Paropi hitavan bandhu, bandhu rapya hitah nara, ahito dehajo vyadhi, hitamaranya maushadham. Sorry, I could not type it here. I just remembered it. That means Paropi hitavan bandhu means even though someone is not your relative, if that person is loyal to you, or close to you, that person is your he or she is your relative, kin. And Paropi hitavan bandhu. Bandhu means relative. And then even though there are a lot of relatives, we have a lot of relatives, but they don't care for us, and they don't look into us, or they don't help us, or they don't really care for us. And that's like, even though they are blood related, but they are still not kind of relatives. Beautiful simile is there. Ahito dehajo vyadhi. That means the the sicknesses that you have in your body, maybe like some diseases that you have it, like your headache, your backache, your sugar, blood sugar, diabetes. They are actually your own, but still they are not. They are not really helpful. They are harmful things, but within, and they are like ahita. Ahito dehajo vyadi. Hitama ranni maushadham. And in the forest, in the jungle, you do have medicine, herbs, a lot of very, very helpful medicine they out there in the jungle. And although they are outside, they are very healthy and very helpful to you. Something like that. So, relatives are not necessarily blood related. It can also be outside. Um, there was a story actually. One Ayurvedic doctor. He was teaching some students, and at the end of the course, this Ayurvedic doctor asked his students to go find uh, one medicinal plant, um, one plant which is not medicinal value. So these people, these students went around everywhere, and they came after days of investigation, exploration, and they said they could not find anything that is not medicinal. And every single thing in the forest, in the jungle, and outside are very helpful medicinal plants. So, although they are outside, they can still be very helpful to us. This Sanskrit sloka, also this Pali Gatha, are very rich resources of those Eastern wisdom. I think we can learn so many things from these things. So, health and contentment and trust. And finally, Nibbanam Paramam Sukham. The greatest happiness is nothing else but Nibbana. The complete absence of craving, attachment, desires. That is Nibbana. That is the greatest happiness. Because the more you are attached to something or someone, the more you suffer. Your happiness is far, far away from you then. So when you are having that complete absence of all these attachment, then only you can be absolutely happy. Paramasukha. Nibbana is called Paramasukha. Okay. So there's another definition here. Would you like to read? Someone, please.
Yeah, I can read.
Okay.
Yeah, definition of wealth. Wealth refers to an abundance of valuable resources or material possessions, such as money, property, and investment, that an individual or entity accumulates and controls. It encompasses not only financial assets but also other forms of assets that contribute to a person's economic security and standard of living.
Thank you. So that's another definition of wealth. And over here we have another definition of richness. Do you like to read, please?
Yes. Definition of richness, on the other hand, is often used more broadly to describe a state of abundant resources or prosperity in various aspects of life. While it includes financial wealth, richness can also refer to a person's overall well-being, including their emotional, intellectual, and social resources. Richness implies a depth of fulfillment and satisfaction beyond mere material wealth, reflecting a comprehensive sense of prosperity and contentment.
Okay, so we can see, I think more or less the same idea, but it's another definition of richness. So wealth and richness. Over here, definition of religious pluralism in Buddhism, uh, we can also see like pluralism, how we can also come back to the embrace with the others, live with the others, coexist with the others. So this is little different topic. Maybe we can go to that little later. Yeah, I guess that should be a later topic. Maybe we can read one sutta that is related to wealth and richness. Okay, this is called Sigaloa the Sutta. And in this particular sutta, we do have so many wonderful teachings. This is also called Gihi Vinaya. Like this is basically for people, lay people. This sutta is a very powerful one, a very helpful one. Let me share the sutta. Okay, can you see this?
Yes, we do see.
So the entire sutta is really a long one. This is in the Digha Nikaya. But Digha Nikaya 31, there are 32 suttas in Digha Nikaya. As you learned, Venerable Ananda was in charge of this section. So there are 6 directions, four corrupt deeds, 4 grounds, 6 drains on wealth, and 6 dangers of taking intoxicating drinks and drugs, 6 dangers of roaming the street at night, 6 dangers of festivals, 6 dangers of gambling, 6 dangers of bad friends, 6 dangers of laziness, and fake friends, and good-hearted friends, and covering the 6 directions. These are all very wonderful teachings that is directly related to the topic today. All right. Someone wants to start reading?
I can start.
Okay.
Introduction. This is as I heard. In those days, the Buddha was living in the city of Rajagaha, in the bamboo park, the squirrels feeding ground. One day, a young man named Sigalaka woke up early in the morning and left Rajagaha with his clothes and hair all wet, and with his joined palms he was worshipping the directions east, south, west, north, below, and above. That day, the Buddha dressed in his robe in the morning, took his bow and double-layered robe, and entered Rajagaha for alms. He saw Sigalaka worshipping the directions and asked him, "Young man, why are you worshipping the directions in this way?" Bante, on his deathbed, my father said to me, my dear son, please worship the directions. Bante, honoring, respecting, and venerating my father's words. I wake up early in the mornings, leave Rajagaha, and with my clothes, my hair all wet, and with my joined palms, I worship the directions east, south, west, north, below, and above. First, the six directions. Sikalaka. That's not how the six directions should be honored in the Dharma I teach. But Bante, how should the six directions be honored in the Dharma the Blessed One teaches? Bante, please teach me this. Well then, Sikalaka, listen and pay close attention. I will teach. Yes, Bante, replied Sikalaka. The Buddha taught this. Sikalaka, when a noble disciple abandons four corrupt deeds, when he doesn't do bad deeds on four grounds, and when he avoids six drains on wealth, he has left 14 bad things behind and he has covered the six directions. As a result, he's practicing the right path to win this war and the next, and he succeeds in this war and the next. After death, he will be reborn in a happy world in heaven. 2. For corrupt deeds. What four corrupt deeds has he abandoned? Killing beings is a corrupt deed. Stealing is a corrupt deed. Sexual misconduct is a corrupt deed. Lying is a corrupt deed. These are the four corrupt deeds he has abandoned. That is what the Buddha said. The Blessed One further said, killing, stealing, telling lies, and committing adultery are corrupt deeds. Wise people don't praise these things. 3. Four grounds. On what four grounds does he not do bad deeds? An ordinary person does bad deeds influenced by favoritism, hostility, delusion, and fear. When a noble disciple is not influenced by favoritism, hostility, delusion, and fear, he doesn't do bad deeds on these four grounds. That is what the Buddha said. The Blessed One further said, if you act against righteousness with favoritism, hostility, delusion, and fear, your fame declines like the moon in the fading fortnight. If you don't act against righteousness, even with favoritism, hostility, delusion, or fear, your fame increases like the moon in the shining fortnight. 4. 6 drains on wealth. What 6 drains on wealth does he avoid? Taking intoxication drinks and drugs is a drain on wealth. Roaming the streets at night is a drain on wealth. Frequenting festivals is a drain on wealth. Gambling is a drain on wealth. Bad friends are a drain on wealth. Laziness is a drain on wealth. 5.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you. So over here we can see the 6 drains are directly related to wealth. And before that we learn some also like corrupt deeds and 4 grounds. They are also very important. And the Buddha said here, like the moon in the fading fortnight, and like the moon in the shining fortnight. So someone's fame can decrease or increase because of these 4 grounds: favoritism, hostility, delusion, or fear. And these 6 drains on wealth are there, and then they are explained here one by one. Okay, 6 dangers of taking intoxicating drinks and drugs. That is the first one, right? So there are 6. Each of these drains further explained with subcategories. Yeah, please go ahead. Or someone else wants to read?
Yeah, I can read. 5.
Okay.
6 dangers of taking intoxicating drinks and drugs. Sigalaka, there are 6 dangers of taking intoxicating drinks and drugs. They are immediate loss of wealth, increase of quarrels, exposure to illness, disrepute, indecent exposure, and a weakened wisdom. Sigalaka. These are the 6 dangers of taking intoxicating drinks and drugs. 6. 6 dangers of roaming the streets at night. Tigalaka. There are 6 dangers of roaming the streets at night. Your spouse, children, your property, and yourself are all left unguarded. You are suspected of bad deeds. Untruth rumors spread about you. You are at the forefront of many things that entail suffering. Sigalaka. These are the 6 dangers of roaming the streets at night.
Yes, so over here you can see like in the daytime and in the nighttime, there are two types of people, communities come into the streets. So in the night it's more dark, and in the daytime it's more light. And with the sun rise in the morning, so you see many positive things are happening. And in the streets also, like people going to work and people do some good things, productive things. But sometimes in the nighttime, you will see maybe gamblers, maybe gangsters, maybe other maybe prostitutes and other negative elements. They are mostly the streets are occupied with them. Um, Not necessarily, maybe some cities, probably they can be different. Maybe I remember some cities here, so they are like working the whole 24/7 and they do have other services too. But mostly average, like the Buddha's viewpoint here, I think is very helpful. Like you see, like when you leave your children and spouse at home, their life can be unguarded. And also when you go here and there in the nighttime, you will be, someone who can be suspected by the authorities. So you have to be careful. And also when you keep doing it as a habit, there will always be rumors about you. So uh, that's really nice. You see, like not only you are wasting your money and your good reputation, but also you are losing so many other things. Jojo?
Bunty, I'm just curious. Is this a little bit usual to find this in the Digha Nikaya rather than like the numbered discourses? Because in the numbered discourses, they always give the series of whatever number you're on, they go through all the different things that are components of it. But to have it 6 dangers of this, 6 dangers of taking this and the, is that a little bit unusual for the Digha Nikaya?
Well, I think in Kutadanta Sutta, in Samanyapala Sutta, and Sonadanda Sutta, I also see like a lot of numbers. Most of the suttas are full of numbers. I think Buddhism is always full of numbers. So that's something like I will think of it again what you said, but yeah. So Sigala Sutta. Most of the suttas like that, even in Mahaparinibbana Sutta, for example, you will see so many categories, so many lists like that. Do you mean that? To have so many lists?
Yeah, the list by numbers.
Yeah, I don't think so. It is like very unusual when it comes to Buddhism. Many of the suttas are like that.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, so let's move on to 6 dangers of festivals. Gabriela?
Six dangers of festivals. Sigalaka. There are 6 dangers of frequenting festivals. You are always thinking, where's the dancing? Where's the singing? Where's the music? Where are the dramas? Where is the clapping and laughing? Where are the games? Sigalaka. These are the 6 dangers of frequenting festivals.
So you need to remember, like, these are losing money. that is the idea here. Dangers. Okay?
8. 6 dangers of gambling. Sigalaka, there are 6 dangers of gambling. Victory generates hate in the loser. The loser cries over his money. There is immediate loss of wealth. A gambler's word carries no weight in public. Friends treat them with disrespect. And no one wants to marry a gambler because people think this individual is a gambler. This individual is not able to support a wife and children. Sigalaka, these are the 6 dangers of gambling.
What do you think of the Buddha's perspective? Like,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, I say that because I have clients who are married with people who loves to gambling, and they create so much suffering in families, and at the end they split and create a lot of suffering for the kids and for the wife. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, gambling in this magnitude was not happening in those days, but still the theory is the same, right? The effect is the same. Like I heard some even homeless people, sometimes they win lotteries and then they don't know how to manage that money, and they start squandering, spending money so fast, and they become homeless again. And so these are also like some things that we need to think of it. And gambling, like when it comes to gambling, can be a very addictive thing, like drugs, and that is where all the problems can happen. Like if you just go to maybe Vegas or just do something maybe for fun, like if you have some control over yourself, maybe, I don't know, maybe that should be like little fun, but not really like an addiction. That could be very, very dangerous. These have been, I think, designed to make you so addicted, where they are very tempted, right? So it is said people go there maybe with their wallet inside the car or something. Because the temptation is so strong, intense, that if your wallet is with you, then you will pull out all the money and start gambling. And if there is something like outside the casino, then you might not go again, you know. So like the situation there, maybe the music, maybe the other background, everything has tied you to that situation. You can get out of it until you become broke. So very wonderful, I think, advice by the Buddha, gambling. Okay.
Do you want me to continue reading?
Okay. Or anyone else want to read?
Okay, I continue. 9. 6 dangers of bad friends. Sigalaka. There are 6 dangers of associating with bad friends. You become friends with those who are gamblers, drunkards, addicts, frauds, cheats, and thugs. I don't know. Sigalaka. There are 6 dangers of associating with bad friends. 6 dangers of laziness. Sigalaka, there are 6 dangers of laziness. You don't get your work done because you think it's too cold, it's too hot, it's too late, it's too early, I'm too hungry, I'm too full. By relying on so many excuses for not working, you don't make any more money, and the money you already have runs out. Sigalaka, these are the 6 dangers of laziness.
Gabriela, you made it all the more emotional. That's, I think, like that makes sense too. Yeah, so when it comes to laziness, in Pali it is called Swat and Topa. So also when you do meditation, it can happen to you. You sit for maybe like thinking, I want to sit for an hour, and maybe halfway through you think, okay, it's enough. I want to go. It's enough. I have like body pain, or I can't concentrate. You know the sloth and torpor, the mental and physical laziness can disrupt your meditation. So over here, um, if you are a student, if you have these qualities, you know too cold, too hungry, too early, too late, you always try to find a lame excuse, then you will not be able to accomplish your goals, right? If you are doing a business, still you won't be able to accomplish your goals. So whatever spiritual or, um, um, you know, like these other worldly affairs, if you want to accomplish something, if you have some ambition, you really have to work hard, especially to work with the laziness. Very important. There are quite a few suttas actually, the Buddha mentioned about laziness. Over here we can see the summary of the text. In this sutta you can also see the like the essay type, and then it comes to like poems. Over here, it's like poems. Some are just drinking buddies. Some call you their dear, dear friend. But a true friend is one who stands by you in need. Waking up late, adultery, living with hatred, harming others, associating with bad friends, and greediness. These 6 things ruin a person. With bad friends, bad companions, bad behavior, a person falls to ruin in both this world and the next. So, it's not only for this world, but also for the next world, you will be in trouble. So, this is again, yeah, gambling, associating with others' wives, drinking alcohol, infatuated with music and dance, sleeping by day and roaming at night, bad friends and excessive greed, these things can ruin a person. They gamble, drink alcohol, and associate with others by associating with those with evil qualities and not associating with people who have good qualities. They decline like the fading moon. Drunkard, broke, and poor, thirsty, drinking in the bar, drowning in debt, will quickly destroy his family. When he is in the habit of sleeping during day, going to bed very early, and always getting drunk, he can succeed in life. Too cold, too hot, too late, he says. When the person neglects his work like others, like this, wealth passes him by. But one who considers hot and cold as nothing more than blades of grass, he does his duty in energetically, and happiness never goes away from him. Yeah, this is a wonderful sutta actually. That is why this sutta is called Gihi Vinaya for lay people who want to, succeed in their worldly affairs. This sutta is definitely very helpful. And even otherwise, this sutta has so many things to learn, especially for lay people. This sutta is a must read um, for all of you. Okay, let's go to fake friends now. Anyone wants to read?
I can read Banti.
Okay.
Fake friends. Sigalaka, you should recognize these 4 enemies disguised as friends: the taker, the talker, the approver, and the evil helper. You can recognize the fake friend called the taker through 4 bad qualities. His goal is always to take something from you. Giving little to you, he expects a lot from you. He comes to help you only when he is in danger and has problems. He associates with you for his own advantage. Sigalaka, you can recognize the fake friend called the taker through these 4 bad qualities. Sigalaka, you can recognize the fake friend called the talker through 4 bad qualities. He serves you in the past instead of helping at present. He always says, I could have helped you if you had asked me before. He serves you in the future instead of helping in the present. He always will say, I will help you in the future. He only serves you with meaningless and false words. When something needs doing in the present, he points to his own misfortune. Sigalaka, you can recognize the fake friend called the talker through these 4 bad qualities. Sigalaka, you can recognize the fake friend called the approver through 4 bad qualities. He approves your bad deeds. He approves your good deeds. He praises you to your face and puts you down behind your back. Sigalaka, you can recognize the fake friend called the approver through these 4 bad qualities. Sigalaka, you can recognize a fake friend called the evil helper through 4 bad qualities. He accompanies you when you are drinking, roaming the streets at night, frequenting festivals, and gambling. Sigalaka, you can recognize the fake friend called the evil helper through these 4 bad qualities. That is what the Buddha said. The Blessed One further said, one friend is all take, another all talk. One's just an approver, and one's a friend who helps to do evil. A wise person understands these 4 enemies for what they are, and they avoid them, as a person avoids a risky road.
Thank you. This is amazing, right? I'm sure you must have met, met some of these people in your lifetime. So you had to be careful. Sometimes people don't even know, like they come to you as friends, friends in disguise, but they are not true friends, but fake friends. If you know these qualities in them, you have to flag such people. Okay, be careful. All right. We'll go to the good-hearted friends too. That's also very important.
Shall I continue, Bhante?
Okay.
Okay. 12 good-hearted friends. Sigalaka, you should recognize these 4 good-hearted friends: the helper, the friend in good times and bad, the counselor, and the one who's compassionate. You can recognize a good-hearted friend called the helper through the 4 good qualities. He guards you when you're negligent. He guards your property when you're negligent. He keeps you safe in times of danger. When something needs doing, he supplies you with twice the money you need. Sigalaka, you can recognize a good-hearted friend called a helper through these 4 good qualities. Sigalaka, you can recognize a good-hearted friend called the friend who is the same in good times and bad times through 4 good qualities. He tells you his secrets. He keeps your secrets. He doesn't abandon you in times of trouble. He'd even give his life for you. Sigalaka, you can recognize a good-hearted friend called the friend who is the same in good times and bad times through these 4 good qualities. Sigalaka, you can recognize a good-hearted friend called a counselor through 4 good qualities. He keeps you from doing bad. He supports you in doing good. He helps you to listen to the Dharma. He explains the path to heaven. Sigalaka, you can recognize a good-hearted friend called a counselor through these 4 good qualities. Sigalaka, you can recognize a good-hearted friend called a compassionate friend through 4 good qualities. He doesn't delight in your misfortune. He delights in your good fortune. He keeps others from criticizing you. He encourages the praising of you. Sigalaka, you can recognize a good-hearted friend called a compassionate friend through these 4 good qualities. That is what the Buddha said. The Blessed One further said, if a friend is a helper, the same in both pleasure and pain, is of good counsel, and is one of compassion, a wise person will understand these 4 friends for what they are and associate with them, like a child associates with their mother. The wise and virtuous person shines like a burning flame. They righteously gather wealth as bees roaming round gather nectar, and his wealth proceeds to grow like an anthill piling up. In gathering wealth like this, a person becomes a clever householder. By dividing his wealth in 4, he surely will be surrounded by friends. 1 portion is spent on the well-being of himself and family. 2 parts are invested in business, and the 4th should be saved for times of trouble.
Thank you so much. So, have you met such good-hearted people in your life? Yes.
Lots of
So,
them.
do you remember? Yeah.
Yeah. Lots on my Facebook page.
Facebook. That's a good question, actually. Facebook friends, so-called Facebook friends. So you must have like 5,000 of them. And when you post something, like you will get only 10 likes or something. And some of them like never share anything with you. That's a very interesting situation in social media. And yeah, so some come to you as like, what's going on in your life? They want to just, you know, follow up with you, what you do. So very interesting also, like this final um, stanza here. 1 portion is spent on the well-being of himself and the family. So you have um, like, let's say like you have $100 that you have earned, so you have to spend $25 for your well-being of your family and yourself, and 2 parts are invested in business. So $50 you should spend, or you should invest in the business, and the 4th should be saved for times of trouble. So $25 should always go to the bank. So many actually, this is also very good advice. Maybe this might not work 100%. I mean, the amount maybe, but it looks like a very beautiful formula for, even though it's a little, Buddha was not necessarily in, economic specialist, but you see these teachings, like his advices. Maybe because he was a prince and he must have learned these things from his teachers. Sarvamitra was his teacher who taught everything to him about the economics and about the country, like the warfares and politics and everything. So we probably must have learned all these things. So all throughout the suttas, we could see his amazing wisdom. So the six directions, I think we don't want to discuss today. It's actually also very important, but you can probably see like how to respect, like this guy Sigalak. Remember, he was worshipping, bowing to the six directions. So the Buddha said, to the north and the east and the west and the south and the up and the below. This is not the way you actually pay respect to the directions. He said rather, you should pay respect to the directions, like parents as the east and teachers as the south, wife and children as the west, friends as the north, servants as beneath, and recluses as above. And each and every one of these parties, they have five duties towards each other. Parents have five duties towards the children, children have five duties towards parents. This is beautiful. You should read it later. Okay. So this is like very much well connected, interconnected society, like how mutually beneficial you can become when you like people fight for their rights, but they don't really focus on their own duties. What we have like commitments to the other people, like how we empathize with the others, how we think of others, how we care for the others. So these are really, really very nice. Like if you are a wife and husband, you can also see like how even the Buddha said, like you have to give some gifts to the wife, things like that. Very interesting discussion is there over here. All right. That's about Galoa the Sutta. Okay. Anyone has any question or comment on the sutta?
Well, I guess my comment goes in the way the Buddha divide the knowledge in five things, in eightfold path, in three things, in six, in he used numbers all the time, and it's interesting to see
Yes.
that.
Right. Like I think Buddhism has more numbers than any other religion in the world. You will see so many lists in Buddhism. Like in the Anguttara Nikaya itself, you have all the numbers like ones and twos and threes and fours and fives, sixes, all the way up to 11s. So if you have some, so if you're searching for a list, you might go to Anguttara Nikaya, the numerical discourses of the Buddha. I think Bhikkhu Bodhi has translated that also into English. Anguttara Nikaya. Yeah, many suttas have this quality. Also, it's easier to remember. As I mentioned before, like it is part of the Bahanaka tradition. They were learning things by heart. So they had to remember this. So if there is a list, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, So you know that. For example, even we do that. Like I remember, like in Tagalog, the sutta, the Buddha said like 5 duties towards the parents, like bhato ne sang bharisami, kichang ne sang karisami, kulavan sang tapesami, dayajang patipajjisami, athachapana petanang kalakatanang dakhinang anupadisami. So I remember like in Pali, which is more familiar with us. And so we know like 5 things. So that way we always learn how to remember things by heart. Yeah, these numbers are very helpful. 5 precepts, 8 precepts, 10 precepts, all numbers. Okay. Okay, so now what do you think of the Buddha's advice to like on this topic, perspective on wealth? Do you think these things are still relevant in today's context? Yes.
Yes, Bante. Yeah, I think that yeah, that sutra is useful and helpful for us to reflect on our life when we see when today when I read listen the reading sutra today I reflect on my own on my own experience when I see if yeah whenever I see whenever I see somebody they have a richness or wealth, I see they have good characteristic like that. But if someone they in difficult time of finance, so when we look at that sutra, we can see some characteristic or some habit they have in their life. So it's run their health, run their wealth. Yeah, I see it's in experience related life. I think I see it's true. And I want to ask more one because when I read about the wow, we have a one characteristic related to generosity, right? Generosity. So so what exactly in this sutta? Because I have not seen it. Yeah.
Generosity is part of the Buddhist practice, as we always see, like part of paramitas, part of the 10 wholesome deeds. Generosity is never, it always comes first. Because generosity is one meritorious act that once you get used to it, you will really enjoy, like being generous. And there is one particular sutta called, maybe I'll write it here, Dakkhina Vibhanga Sutta. You can read it later. It talks about, again, like the benefits of becoming generous and how to become a generous person. Let's say, like when you offer something to someone, there are 3 occasions that you have to be very mindful. Before generosity, before giving, and while giving, and after giving. Okay, 3 occasions. Usually we think of now on, but we also have to think of like all the 3 occasions, before and after, and also while giving. You have to be very pure in your heart when you do that, when you practice that generosity. We call we have to be careful of those unwholesome roots like greed, hatred, and ignorance. This can be very dangerous. It can be detrimental to your whole act of generosity. There are some people who give something and later repent. Have you seen some people like that? Like, oh, why should I give? Like, why did I give like that? Well, I shouldn't have given that much. people, feel like you kind of repent. And then there are some people who give, but they give with so much anger, so much, maybe like not really compassion in giving. So while giving, also you have to be really, really compassionate and really kind-hearted when you do that. And yeah, also you need to know, like by giving this, you can generate a lot of good karma, and it really can make way to come out of those many, many defilements. So that's how the generosity, act of generosity, is described in many suttas.
Thank you, Bhante.
Dana, yeah, I think here the dana was part of the, oh, I don't remember that. Yeah, dana was also mentioned here, generosity. Yeah, so when you become a rich person or very wealthy person, you are perfectly all right to, do good business. If you have the capacity, if you are smart, you better do that. You can earn money, but do it in the right way, and then you should think of sharing with the others. There are a lot of people in the world who need our help. So those people who are very wealthy, well off, well-to-do, those people should share their wealth for the benefit, for the well-being and happiness of the many. Jojo?
I've had a number
You're
of
mute.
discussion. I have had a number of discussions with some people because they say, oh, I gave so much money to the monks and to the temple, and it's because I want my son to pass his test or because I want good things to come back to me. And I've told them, I said, if you're doing it with that kind of an attitude, you're not doing it with the proper intention, and you're just doing a business deal. You're doing a transaction. You give something, but you're expecting something in return, and that's not really the way it works.
Yeah, that's right. When you when you expect something in return, you might probably go to your goal, but your goal will be much delayed. So some people actually, there are always some people they want to be rewarded. So they think of some gift, something in return. So there will be something in return, but you don't have to in the long run. You have to get rid of even that. There are a lot of people in the world today that we see them like practicing generosity, but for the sake of doing it, they do it and they want to just show off. That like they want to show to the world I'm doing it, like the real one who do it. Like in the temples, we also see like they always want the monks to mention their names, highlight their names in the gatherings. Otherwise, they will feel very bad. How come this monk didn't mention my name? They feel bad. So like repenting or like polluting or corrupting your mind after that also is very, very dangerous. Let me tell you a story like how it happened um, to two friends when they went to the Jetavana monastery opening ceremony. Jetavana monastery was supported by um, Anathapindika, as you know, and there were so many, the Buddha and so many Arahanta monks, enlightened monks, and so many people were there, and the whole area was beautifully decorated too. And these two friends who came from far away, they also wanted to see what's going on there. And then they went there and they saw the beautiful decoration. They saw everyone around, and they were like one of the friends um, said, "Oh, how wonderful this Anathapindika! He is so generous. He is so pure-hearted." and he offered the temple to the Buddha. And I wholeheartedly, share this merit. And he said, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. He was so happy from pure heart, from the core of his heart. He was really happy about that. The other friend, meanwhile, he said, oh, what a fool is this Anathapindika. He spent so much of money for this vihara building. He should have invested this money for the well-being and happiness of his own children. It should have been nice if he did that. But this is a foolish act, he said. So both these friends have not spent a penny for this noble cause. See what happened. Like you saw somebody else's charity, and one person was very happy. One person was able to enjoy the happiness, share that bliss in the other person's goodness, and the other one, he was full of negativity, and he also could not bear it. There are a lot of people like that today also, right? We can see some don't appreciate others' good deeds, and some really criticize, and some really, really appreciate wholeheartedly with pure heart. So that way also people can generate a lot of good merit. And it is said they both of them did contradictory karma, karmic effects because of their karma. Okay.
Monty, your video's off, I think.
Yes, I'm actually trying to charge my computer. Okay? So I'll come back to that later. All right, I think we'll take the 15 minutes break, and after that we'll come back. Okay. You need to think, are they really going to work? We need to really think of it. You make the recording. All right. So we were talking about some of the quotes here from different suttas. Maybe I will quickly go through. So we had Anguttara Nikaya, and then Sigalovada Sutta. We learned about the 4 ways, like how to divide your earning into 4, and how to use them in the right way. And also the Buddha talks about happiness and welfare. They are also part of the good wealth. And then again, like in the Kalama Sutta, the Buddha says, like unwholesome things are blamable, wholesome things are praiseworthy, blameless. So you have to think which one is your choice. When you go for a job, when you go for a career, you have to think of it. His Holiness the Dalai Lama, he said, I believe deeply that we must find, all of us together, a new spirituality with new concept, ought to be elaborated alongside the religions in such a way that all people could adhere to it. I remember like the Dalai Lama was very welcome by many religious groups. So for religious pluralism, he also was a wonderful spiritual master. And similarly, many religious leaders, many political leaders, many community leaders, I think we need to think of pluralism, religious pluralism, especially because when it comes to religion, it's really, really very sensitive. So if we talk about something bad, if we talk something bad or negative of another religion, there will be millions of people, followers who can be hurt. So it's better actually not to pass judgment on such cases, but rather you become a walking example of loving kindness, peace and happiness. You can become a peace messenger even among them, and they will really welcome you. Like when the Buddha was there, and he was welcome to many other ashrams, different ashrams, and they really like to welcome the Buddha because of his enormous compassion and his amazing, unparalleled wisdom. Whenever he talks to people, he would not talk about you have to become a Buddhist or like that. He would not do that way, but with his wisdom and compassion, lots and lots of other people, they really like to welcome to Buddha to their ashrams. So one time I remember like the Buddha's, when he was visiting an ashram, the abbot of that ashram said to his followers, "Oh, the Blessed One is coming to our ashram today for a Dhamma talk. Remember, we have to be quiet because he really likes noble silence." And a lot of people when they gather and they make a lot of noise and it really disturbs everyone. But the Buddha said like if you keep quiet, that makes so much wonderful, wonderful energy. It really can generate such a powerful energy with that. One time, King Ajatasattu, actually, he wanted to visit the Buddha because he himself was suffering a lot because of his own bad deed by killing his own father, um, by torturing him so much. And eventually, when he died, and later he came to know how his father was so much dedicated to him and he did so much sacrifice to raise him. And then he felt very bad. His guilty consciousness really was killing him. He could not sleep. He had insomnia. He had panic attack. He was stressful all the time, and so all the nights he could not really sleep well. And then he talked to his religious ministers, counselors, to help him, and they took him to different religious masters, and he was not comfortable again. And then he was taken to the Buddha by one of his physicians actually. And when he went there with the king, Buddha was living in this guy's mango grove, and there were 1,250 monks in there, and this physician said the Buddha is there along with so many monks, and you can go and knock the door, and somebody will open the door. And the king was thinking like, if there are 1,250 monks, there should be a lot of noise. So many people together like means a lot of noise. When he went alone all by himself without any security, then he was even feeling bad. He was even thinking like this guy was trying to betray him, taking him to his enemies, and he had a lot of negativity. Then he further advised, you go and knock the door and you will see for yourself. And then when he knocked the door, he saw so many monks along with the Buddha. They were in absolute silence. They were in a pin drop silence. And that itself was like so impressive to him. And so eventually he became a follower of the Buddha later on. So noble silence, again, is a very interesting thing, and also religious pluralism is a very wonderful thing. And today's context, especially, like people do a lot of international businesses. I think it's even more important to have good friends everywhere. If you have enemies, you can do your business with them. You need to be good with everyone internationally too, and then you can sell your businesses. So it's good to have that kind of coexistence, that kind of patience, that kind of mutual respect to all religions, all communities, all political ideologies or religious, denominations and opinions. We need to, I think, live with everyone. Coexisting is something that we um, really have to highlight today. Very, very important, especially those world leaders, political, religious, or community leaders. If they take a wrong decision, it can be detrimental to the world peace. So we really have to think of it. And so is the business. You can see now nowadays, like, so many things happening and very tense situations in the world. So it's very important we think of it. Over here in Bhikkhu Bodhi's remark on wealth, the Buddha's approach to material wealth was pragmatic rather than dogmatic. He recognized the lay people need material security to live comfortable lives and practice the Dhamma effectively. I think although Buddha was actually mainly focusing on supramundane level, like spiritual upliftment of, final liberation or something, but he himself was still um, advising or allowing people to do their business. You can do good business. You can do exercise. You can eat well. You can dress well. That's okay. Like only thing is you should not be addicted to that, or you should not be excessively attached to that. That is the thing that we need to learn here. So yeah, effective way of and practical way of teaching. Mark?
Yes, I got a question. Since we're talking about lay people, is any sutra or any impression of the Buddha ever uh persuading or like suggest lay people to become a monk
I
as he
don't think
goes?
so. There is no case like that, but when he went to five disciples, that time he really wanted to help them, because he knew they were potential, arahants. They had the potential to become arahants. So Buddha went in search of them, and when he went there, like those people were not happy too, because he switched from extreme finances to middle path, and they were unhappy, Kondanya and the team. And then Buddha approach to them, they actually change their own perspective. When they see the Buddha, the closer he came, and deeper and more peaceful they became. And they changed everything, and they welcomed the Buddha, and eventually he listened to them. They listened to him, and in many cases, the Buddha um, teach the Dhamma depending on that person. It's case by case. When he talk to someone, he knows exactly. He knows his previous file. He has his file with him. He has done his homework. He knows exactly, like, this person is like that. He has done meditation so many births before. So it's just a matter of, turning the lock, unlocking the door only for such people. There were many people who were just about to blossom, and the Buddha just had to open the door to them. They were ready to go there. And some people, they were not ready there. That's why the Buddha did not want to focus on such people. Like things like Angulimala, for example. he been such a dastardly or disastrous person. And so Buddha went to him, Angulimala didn't come to the Buddha. Buddha did go to Angulimala to rescue him because he knew he had the potential. Not only he had the potential to become Arahant, but also it would give so many people a wonderful inspiration to come out of their personal personal miseries. Like a lot of people, when they do wrong things in the past, they don't know how to come out of it, and they don't they always repent over their past. And so this is a story where we can think, if Angulimala could do it, why not I do it? That was such an inspiring story. So things like that were always there. So many people, they at the end of the suttas, like before we learned yesterday also, so some of the monks, some of the people, when they listen to the Buddha, they would themselves say, I want to become a lifetime follower of the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. And some of them said, I want to become a monk or a nun. So Buddha didn't ask them to become a monk or a nun. So they decided themselves.
Got it. Thank you.
So yes, yeah. Right. So here, Sulak Siva Raksha on religious diversity. Buddhism teaches us to respect all traditions that promote human dignity, compassion, and wisdom, regardless of their particular forms of expressions. So yeah, this is again something similar that we already discussed. So Buddhism's teaching over here, like religious pluralism, I think we should also maybe focus a little bit on this. So religious pluralism refers to the acknowledgement and acceptance of diverse religious beliefs and practices coexisting within a society or community. So that is very important today. We don't have any one religion in the world. We don't have any one language in the world. We don't have one community in the world, but we all have to live together. They all help us each other. And so we have to coexist somehow peacefully. And we need to find our own niche, and we also need to find peaceful coexistence. That's very helpful to become like that. And also it's the idea that multiple religions have can have validity, and that individuals should have the freedom to practice their faith without discrimination or conflict. You can have people from other faiths. I think people should start with their own religious community. Like, let's say you are a Vietnamese Buddhist, and then you have South Vietnam and North Vietnam. You have also Theravada and Mahayana. So, you can go to different temples. You can communicate with others. You can become respectful or open, flexible, to learn from them, to respect them. Maybe they are a little different in their rituals, their chantings or something, but then you should start with that. That way you can eventually go to maybe Chinese temples, maybe Taiwanese temples, maybe Thai temples, maybe like Cambodian temples, like Sri Lankan temples, Myanmar temple. That way you can widen the horizon of your own territory. You can expand that openness. Many times we don't do it. We are very, like even in the West, you see, like if there is a Thai temple, they speak only Thai language, and it's like locking the door for the other people. Right? Even the other people want to learn about that beautiful culture, they don't have an opportunity. So we need to be compassionate towards them too. And then the other people also should go somehow. It should be a mutual compassionate agreement action by both parties. And then also, like if you are a Buddhist, you should go to other faiths like Christian faiths, Islamic faiths, Hindu faiths, to learn from them, to appreciate them, that way they will become your friends and you will become their friends. So, like, if you want to become a friend, if you want friends, a lot of people want friends. We all want friends. Really, friends are kind of an inseparable part of our life. You can be a wonderful friend first. You be a good friend first, and then all the good friends will follow you. They will be coming from all different backgrounds. I really like, for example, the music and also the sports. They somehow attract more people from all backgrounds. That's really amazing. Maybe somebody like Cristiano Ronaldo, he is from Portugal and he's a soccer player, and how he has so many followers. I saw him having like 600 plus Instagram followers, 600 million plus Instagram followers. Amazing, right? So how he does such things because of his sports. I mean, that's amazing. Like no barriers for them. And let's say like somebody like your favorite singer today, or maybe like let's say like Michael Jackson or somebody, they have been loved by millions of people. Amazing how they have been, they have won the hearts of so many people from different backgrounds. That's really, really amazing. The religious leaders also should do the same. Like that's why the Buddha could also attract. He could go to many other people with open heart, like that flexibility, that compassion, that coexistence. They should be really wonderful peace messengers. I hope today's religious pluralism can become even more vibrant and even more effective if we do like that. We do have a lot of interfaith religious groups. Sometimes I also used to go, we stand with them, we talk to them, we sometimes also conduct meditation for them, and they listen to us, we listen to them, and that's really wonderful. Recently, we had some um, Sikh community people, religious leaders coming to our center. We had a really wonderful session. There are so many questions about Buddhism. I remember when I went to Italy, we were staying in a church, a Catholic monastery, and those people introduced us to their community, and they asked so many questions about Buddhism. I think we need to do that in order to survive, in order to sustain this world. So religious pluralism promotes respect and understanding among different religious groups, emphasizing that no single religion holds a monopoly on truth or moral authority. I think you can be a better Buddhist when you interact with other religions, and you can be a better Christian when you interact with other religions. And that I noticed was really helpful. You have to come out of these shackles. Eventually, when it comes to final liberation, not even the gender, and this is all, just a matter of five aggregates. So we really can fight because of the religion or other denominations. So This religious pluralism also should encourage dialogue, cooperation, and peaceful coexistence among people with differing religious views. In essence, religious pluralism advocates for harmonious environment where diverse religious expressions are recognized and valued. Okay, I think with that, I would like to come back to you. You have anything more to ask or discuss? These are some of the other sutras that we can find, especially Dhammapada, Aradhava Sutta, Mangala Sutta, even Karaniya Metta Sutta, like it says how you should become Sampruti, like, light, living like a simple lifestyle. This can be very helpful to become a better person. Okay. Any questions? We have a question here. I was actually yesterday coming in and share the system and only lesson we had. So I will share the presentation and also hopefully the video recording will be shared with you. You can ask Venerable Kongyan if you need the recording.
Banti, I'm sorry, I missed what you said. Did you say we can ask Konyan what? What are we asking her?
Venerable Kongyan, if you need the recording of the lesson.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right.
Wante, I have a question.
Yes.
How can we best practice patience and loving kindness for people that are that have a very negative view of Buddhism? They're very aggressive towards Buddhist views.
Yeah, that's so what we should do, actually, it's hard at the beginning. But when you say like Sabbe Satta Bhavantu Sukhitatta, that means all sentient beings. All sentient being includes all those people who are unfriendly with you, who are antagonistic. Not only friends, not only near and dear ones, but also the neutral ones and also the unfriendly ones. You have to come to that. So, like, I think practically at the beginning, to begin with, you have to practice metta or loving kindness towards yourself. Okay, keep doing it. I see a lot of young people, they don't even have loving kindness towards themselves. That's very unfortunate. I see that. And they torture themselves. They can send loving kindness to others, but they can do it to themselves. Have you seen young people like that? Yeah, so the Buddha said we have to begin with ourselves. You have to begin this process of metta, loving kindness, with yourself. And only when you are peaceful, and only when you are full of kindness, compassion, loving kindness, you can actually radiate, share it with the others. So then the territory, it's like waves. The nearest territory would be your loved ones, your near and near ones. Maybe you can select one person who is so close to you, who has been so helpful to you. Maybe your mother, your father, your brother, sister, maybe your husband, wife, whosoever, maybe even a teacher, and maybe a community member, whosoever. You should think of one person and practice loving kindness towards that person. And so slowly, it's not happening overnight. You have to keep doing it. And then you can also have a more members of that, good near and dear ones, loved ones, family members, friends, relatives, teachers, elders. You think of them and practice loving kindness. And then you go to the next level, that is neutral ones. Neutral ones are actually the most number of people in the world, right? We know only maybe a handful of people. And like out of 8 billion people in the world, we know only few. Even if you have like, I think, as I mentioned, like Cristiano Ronaldo, he has 600 million followers, but there are 800 billion people in the world. And when you go out, nobody knows you. Nobody respects you. Nobody cares for you. But why do we need to send loving kindness to them? Because they don't hurt you, you don't hurt them. They don't know you, you don't know them. They care for their own business. You mind your own affairs. But then there could be situations where any of them can turn hostile. Any of them, in an airplane, in a school, in a shopping mall. These people, these apparently neutral people, but any of them can turn hostile towards you too. So you could be a victim. Maybe practicing loving kindness to them, to bring peace to them, to bring happiness to them, to bring calmness to them, can be very helpful. That's why we need to do that. And so you can start with one person again. Maybe you have someone in the neighborhood. You know him or her, but you're not really good friends. Just a neutral person, or maybe a coworker, someone in your office. You're not so friendly, so close. Some sort of neutral person. Think of one person like that and practice loving kindness. Keep doing it and keep expanding that number also. Then you can think of many people like that. And eventually take a good long deep breath and think of the unfriendly one. One person, one unfriendly one person who has bullied you, who has hurt you, who has hated you, who has disliked you, at present or in the past. It could be anyone. There could be more, but you think of one person who is most prominent in your memory, because of whom you couldn't sleep, you couldn't eat. Imagine such people are still haunting you because you are carrying the heavy weight with you. You have to leave it. You have to release. You have to let it go. And the day you are able to do that wholeheartedly with your heart, I could think of that person and send loving kindness, well wish, and happiness, the best of luck for that person. If you can think, then that person, that day, you will feel, wow, such a huge relief in you, because you have been released from that heavy workload, heavy weight that you have been carrying. That's really choking when you have such people in your life. Everyone must be having, more or less. So we are the ones who actually do it. We are the ones who fabricate this, or who can categorize these things. Eventually you have to think that, I can do it. I can send loving kindness to even the unfriendly ones now. Wow, that's amazing. The one who really hated you, hurt you, disliked you, revenged you. Now you are able to practice loving kindness to even such people. Now, the best example is the Buddha. Buddha was sending loving kindness, practicing loving kindness to Devadatta, the one who was always trying to kill him, right? And Buddha did not have any sort of grudge against him, never ever. And so his power of loving kindness and metta was amazing. How he was able to even tame elephants like Nalagiri, and how he was able to tame like monsters, people like Angulimala. That's amazing how he did it just because of his pure heart, loving kindness. That's how you do it. And you keep doing it. Practically, let's say, Cameron, if you have someone, maybe at your office, let's say, so you think of that person, you don't want to talk to him. He doesn't want to talk to you, but you think of him in your heart. Send loving kindness to that person. May he or she be well, happy, healthy. Just think of that magical formula. May he be well, happy, healthy. You can just, say it to yourself, but you think of that person. And eventually, you will see the vibe, transmitting. And the most important thing is you are released from the pressure, the load, the heavy weight that you are carrying. And eventually your vibe will be different. Your emotions will be different. Your brain waves will be different. Your thinking patterns will be different. That way, eventually that person will feel it. Even the snakes will feel it. The animals will feel it. So your enemy will also feel it. Sometimes you don't even know, like you are the one who think like that person was angry with you or enemy of you, but maybe that person must have forgotten even. He or she must have been, going forward in his life or her life. And you are the one carrying this weight so long, and it has become such a poisonous tree. A seed has come, grown into huge tree. I think William Blake has written a poem, Poison Tree. I remember. Yeah. So something like that. We are the one who seed that and plant that seed and keep watering. We have to someday come out of that cycle.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other comment or concern? So there are two more articles here that I have shared with you. You can see that over here. Buddhist perspective on wealth and religious pluralism. I'll share the edited one. So no advertisement, sorry. So over here you can see Buddhist perspective on wealth, the middle way approach. Every time I think middle way approach is really important. So you don't have to be excessively possessive of things, but you can be like middle way. You don't also have to be excessively poor, like homeless. You can be in the middle path always. Maybe if you are practicing monastic, you could probably be like that. Otherwise, as a layperson, you should always follow the middle path. And right livelihood is something that you need to think always. Some ajiva, like the 5 kinds of businesses or living, careers that you have to really avoid suffering, and also wealth as a tool for spiritual development. This is also a really, really important thing. Like in Alavata Sutta, the Buddha said, supporting oneself and family, helping friends and associates, protecting against future calamities, and making offerings to the monks, Brahmins, and worthy causes. These can be powerful practices. And then dana, as we practice, better than sovereignty over the earth, better than going to heaven, better than lordship over all worlds, is the fruit of stream entry. So the Buddha's final goal, actually, even if you become a universal monarch, it doesn't really matter. If you can become a Sotapanna, it's way more powerful and meaningful than that. But then when you are in pursuit of that journey, you also have to be comfortable, you have to be strong, you have to be healthy, you have to maintain your body. You can't say like, oh, this is very, the life is impermanent, and so you should not like look well, do good, like dress well or eat well. It's not like that. You should do like a good person. That's perfectly all right. But in pursuit of that, in the way, you have to be like this. Remember the middle path, and then overcoming attachment to wealth. This also is really poisonous thing. Look upon the world as a bubble, as a mirage. One who looks upon the world in this way, the thing of that does not see. This is about the material possession. When it comes to the Mara, he would not take any bribe. You can postpone the death. No matter how much you try, eventually it will come to you. So you have to live your life. You have to be good and do good. And remember everything you have to leave one day behind. So material possessions you can have, of course you can enjoy your life, and then you need to think one day I have to leave. This will all be impermanent. And remember like recent Texas floods, like those beautiful innocent kids, they were all washed away, and so many people along with that, the power of the water. And you see that it's hard. Things can happen to any of us, anytime. You never know. So it's important that we keep being mindful about this. So, and over here, Buddhist perspective on religious pluralism, as I mentioned here, foundations of Buddhist tolerance, very important to have this tolerance. You have to be respectful. Kalyana Mitra, you can be a spiritual friend with others too. Like in the Pavija Sutta, the Buddha mentioned with Brahmin priests about the coexistence, religious practice. And doctrine of skillful means also is important. It is called fire, skillful means. So we need to be good and we need to do good. And then there could be like lot of tricks, lot of twisting moments. We have to be very mindful about that in my life. So maybe talking to your friends, good friends, having good friends around can also be really helpful. Interfaith dialogue, as I mentioned, and cooperation with others will also be useful. And limitations and boundaries can be there. Like Buddhism just simply talk about the final goal, final liberation as the most comprehensive teaching, but in between you also can see some important advices for us, instructions for us to live a peaceful, happy, and healthy and good life. And integration and of wealth ethics and religious pluralism is another paragraph here. Yeah, so this article can also be hopefully very helpful to you. You can take a look at later on. So, and then there is another article too, like Buddhist perspective on wealth and finance, framework for ethical prosperity, and there are three more articles in the subject. You can take a look whenever you are free. And I really appreciate if you can also leave a comment there so I know you have read that. Ayla, you had I find it helpful to remember the Buddha said that someone's hurtful words are earned only by the person who speaks them. Yeah. Yeah, one day actually someone kept on insulting the Buddha and Buddha was quiet. He kept on, insulting him and he was unshaken and he was very quiet and then eventually this person actually when he was quiet the Buddha said have you do you have some friends? He said yes. And so what do you do when you have a party? Did you host some parties? And then he said yes. And then what if there are a lot of friends and you have arranged a good table for them, table full of delicious food, and what will happen if they don't eat it? And he said, then I'll have to eat myself. Similarly, the Buddha said, I don't want to eat all those things that you said, you know. So I am not, he said, it's like that. So when you know certain things like that, I also like to mention, like when somebody was insulting you, you could think like, oh, this is another skeleton. Like you are a skeleton in a way. So you can think of a cartoon movie like two skeletons, insulting each other, something like that. So sometimes when it happens to us also, we think of that way. Oh, I am a skeleton. That person is also a skeleton. This is like a cartoon movie. So we try to minimize the tension that way. And if you can think, okay, this is another 5 aggregates, Rupa Vedana Sanya Sankhara Vinyana. I am a 5 aggregate, that person is also 5 aggregate. So this is another like Muppet show or something. Yeah, we need to find a different way, maybe like Vitakka Santana Sutta says, how to replace the existing defilement with a wholesome action, wholesome thought, you can make a difference. Okay, we have a few more minutes. Any questions or comments?
Has anyone here ever seen
Has anyone here?
No, it echoed. Has anyone here ever seen Monty Python?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Kind of building off of what Bhante Samhita was saying, with all of the recent challenges, we'll put it gently, especially with political circumstances and like stressors and like thinking about like different people are interacting in different ways. I find myself getting like increasingly stressed out by like just the disparity of thought between groups. And so sometimes when a situation arises where one group is thinking one thing very specifically and another group is thinking another thing and we're clashing, I like to think of it like it's a Monty Python skit, just to kind of ease the tension in my own mind and be able to take it as it comes, which, you know, it's satirical, it's meant to be, but I find that that type of thing can help as well. So I completely understand like how that can assist in like bringing you back to kind of like a place in your own mind where you can then deal with the situation.
Yeah, I think it's a very important question. Maybe you can also share your own practical experiences and solutions that you found, how to deal in such situations. Every one of you must have had, some way or the other. Like there are groups that you don't feel comfortable. There are opinions that you don't feel comfortable, right? And to deal with such things is not easy. But I think Buddhism has answer to all those questions. But the solution, the answer is within you. Because my answer will not probably be the same, will not be similarly applicable to everyone. Yeah, that's like the Nibbana is within you. The solution also should be within you. But maybe by listening to others, in a way, it can also be helpful. How do you actually deal with such situations? Can you share with the class?
Bhante, are you talking to Kara, or because I was going to say something about that, about diplomacy?
Okay.
A lot of times, I don't know if you've ever experienced Thanksgiving dinners where you have a lot of your Christian family and they are just jumping down your throat. Buddhism, no, there's only one true God. You have to do this and you have to do that. And you can put them off so much, but then there's ways that you have to kind of set your boundaries. And you can say, I'm so happy for you that you have this happiness in your own religion. I can see that we have different viewpoints. I'll let you stick with yours. We're going to talk about something less stressful. Let's go talk about something else. You can kind of distract them. So there's different ways. If they get really, really hostile, which sometimes they really do get hostile, you're going to hell. There's no bottom line about it. You are going to hell and you worship the devil. Then you just say, this is an assault on my ears. I don't appreciate it. I don't appreciate how you're coming across. So I'm just going to leave it here and just go off and, do something else right now. That's it.
Share my thought on that.
Okay.
Nowadays I think whenever somebody asks me what I practice, and I just say I practice mindfulness, and then by the time I try to avoid the word Buddhisms or some kind of religion. So when people say, "Oh, you go to the temple," I say, "No, I go to the mindfulness center." So sometimes I get away with getting an argument with people. So they always say, "What is mindfulness?" Then I'm start explain things so that they can understand. like breathing and stuff like that. And then I tried very hard to get away with any of the like Buddha or like terminology for the people who have views against like religions, different religions. So that's how I deal with when people ask me what I practice. And then sometimes they said, "Are you Buddhist?" I'm like, "No, I practice Buddhism." It depends. If I'm talking to someone who's Buddhist and they ask me, "Are you Buddhist?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm Buddhist." But then if I'm talking to someone who's Christians or some different ethnicity that I don't know what they believe in, then I'll say I'm practicing mindfulness. I'm just trying to clear my mind and concentrate on my breathing. That's really what I practice. So just share my thought.
I think yeah, I think that's beautiful, Julie, because like the Buddha also approach differently. As Bante mentioned earlier, like with to different audience, he has his own way of teaching. So like we also need to learn that to like how we approach to the audience, the person from the other end, and like and to me, I feel like if we enter the conversation being open-minded, the other person tend to be more open-minded too. So like if people questioning me about my belief, then I like to like just leave an open space and like be curious about their own belief, like why they think this way. Like say, why do you think? I might ask like, what do you think about hell? Like, what is your conception of hell come from? And why do you think people come to hell and stuff like that? So like sometimes it get funny, like and trick. It could be tricky, but like, I can turn it into like a fun way of imagination and like and try not to cling to any ideology or any specific term as like us versus them, but like we're just trying to learn about each other.
Hmm. As a Buddhist monk, like wearing a robe, going around with the orange color robe, you can imagine, like, but like, fortunately, I don't know, like, I always felt okay. I I hardly had any difficult situation wherever I went. Um, I don't know, somehow it didn't really disturb me much because I don't have to hide my you know spiritual faith, but I also have very great respect for everyone. So I don't mind talking to people or listening to them. And I notice, like, when others are angry or they dislike you just be patient. Maybe you can listen to them, and maybe there is a way to win their heart. It takes a while, but it works over time. You keep practicing. It's a time for you to test your own dharma when you are in a spot like that. So you need to practice. Okay, this person is like that. He's angry, like full of hate, but you should practice loving kindness. Oh, this in this kind of situation, how do I practice dharma myself? So inside you, if you are rich inside and outside, you know, you can be unshaken. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, and about me, so I think this topic is the I think it's popular, and I have a lot. I have some friends in Hinduism in India, or some friends they follow Christian. So I see it's not different because they just do the lifestyle to have they have a better life, and they feel more happy. They feel more peace when they have that practice. So to me, when I approach if someone they have a different religions, I don't create the distinct a gap. I just want to support each other, and I will share each other. For example, when I study yoga in India, and my friend and I asked my friend about their practice in Hinduism, and I see same I see it same have a same practice for say it just so small, but it's the same theory or same practice in the we do each other to it help us to connect more with the inner self, and it help us to have a good mind, good knowledge or wisdom, get the knowledge wisdom from yeah, from inside. And yeah, and then they can ask me about the Buddhism teaching, and they when I don't create the line between religions, so I see many people around me, they willing to hear or listen about Buddhism, yeah, and the teaching for each other to help us to help we to help us to grow yeah, and develop in spiritual path. Yes, it's my yeah, it's my experience, and I think it's help us to live together and grow together, although maybe we have a some different belief. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. I think it's so wonderful. I know the topic was little, would have been really nice if we could speak a little bit more too. Hopefully, in between, of course, we can, share our opinions about these things, because eventually we need to find answers to some burning issues like that. That will be helpful to learn from each other, because people have different experiences, so you can share um, your um, experiences with the rest of the people. And with that, let's conclude our class today, and thank you very much for